Hello. I doubt it was used in any game. You don't... What? You don't like the theme song music? Timebot, this is the... It was the Home Depot Trap remix. No? Alright. Not for you? That's fair. That's fair. The Home Depot? Dude, it is cold. Cold in here. And when I say it's cold, that means it's cold. It's pretty damn cold. Yeah, it's pretty cold. Pretty cold. Have you seen the new Beam update? Yep. I was told about it. Serious, I'm friends with the community manager. Community manager watches the stream. Good buddy of mine, actually. Not to brag or anything. Oh, not to brag. I'm just going to have my pinky out. Yeah, I'm just telling you matter of factly. But is it the Bing chilling? Bing chilling, die sure. Bing chilling. Yeah, okay, cool story, but who asked? No, that's the beauty of it, old boy. Nobody asked, but I chose to flex in your face anyway. Let's go to Kensington. You can come back to my apartment and we can watch the London silly nannies play football. Sorry. Sorry. Sorry, I'll stop. EJ, all the mountains around where I live are covered in snow, but the valley is snow-free. Must have had an inversion that trapped warm air, so we only got rain overnight. You what? It's simply a marvelous cup of tea. What is closer to you, Home Depot or Lowe's? Take a guess. Take a guess, Wefrel. Which one do you think is closer? Neither? Tractor Supply. Tractor Supply. No, there's a Tractor Supply. Good ways away. Home Depot is the closest one. Driving distance? Everything's in driving distance, man. It's America. Everything's in driving distance. I proved that with Route 154. Everything's within driving distance. Launch readiness review for SWAT complete. T-0 set for 6:46 a.m. tomorrow. Hey, how'd that flight go? Oh, bother. Launch update. Oh, yeah. Okay. Ah. I yeah. A nice snowblower, by the way. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. I guess I'm getting up early tomorrow, which means this stream has to end early, but that's okay because I ended up streaming for 13 hours yesterday. Even more to the point, I definitely stayed up and finished working on the snowblower last night. It's definitely back in one piece, and then I cleaned the shop after. I was up till 4 in the morning. It's okay. Everything is fine. Yeah, so... yeah, I was up till 4 in the morning. I took it apart. The only thing that needs to be done still is the belts, but it is leaking. The gearbox is leaking, but that's not anything we didn't see coming. You fire it up. Yeah, it runs. It runs just fine. The auger moves and everything, but we're going to need to take it apart again. That's okay. It's nothing I didn't know. I just don't really want to take something apart and then leave it apart. I don't like doing that. I had a bad experience once doing that, so I knew it was going to be crap putting it back together.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Dude, you need to take care of yourself. You're not 22 anymore. I'm fine. I had a bad experience taking something apart and just leaving it there. I really don't like doing that. So I put it back together despite knowing that it was going to just piss oil everywhere. But it does work. It runs. It runs. All the belts work. I got the belts tensioned and everything. Those set keys that are on that back pulley are there to make sure your belt is aligned correctly with the motor pulley. So, the machine really blows. Yeah. So, we'll have to take it. Ooh. I bought better Permatex than what I have before, and I got the gasket scraper. I don't think, believe it or not, I don't think it's leaking out of that back seal. But, yeah. It'll run. It'll work. It's just you gotta check the gearbox from time to time, but it'll work. And eventually it'll throw a belt. But, yeah, other than that, she's fine. Okay. Alright, anyway, let's jump in. Damn, Chief. Selma's ready for the nor'easter storm of the century. Please no. Rather than the fact, the weather stat from yesterday was built in your hometown. Neat. Neat. Why is that there and not on the runway? You picked a mission mode save this time. I saw it. Hey, Alucard. You know what? We're just going to recover that. And, yeah, yeah, we're just going to recover that. It's below the map. It's still at the SPH. The tags get weird. Well, we'll just recover it, and then we'll store it in this hangar next time, okay? Next time we go to use it. So we did run a CTS-1 mission yesterday, but I'll be honest with you, it wasn't in this save. 4,500 comments. I am not your wife. I didn't say you were. Okay. Why do you hate me? I think I'm just going to redo the exact same mission, to be honest with you. So, yeah. Any guess on what my most bad, what your most bad, what your most BTTV Twitch mode was? Typers, Kappa, Smiley Face, Pog, and LOL. Hey Vickers, what's going on? Yeah, so we're gonna get right in. We're gonna get right into it today. I need my damn Pathfinder flag. Okay, hold on a second here. Hold on a second there, Professor. Let's get let's get the flag for the orbiter. Good to go. Thank you for one more year in great entertainment and useless knowledge. You're welcome. I used Go 154 times. No joke. I posted screenshots in the Discord. So perfect. The number is everywhere. 154 is better than 42. Alright, so let's do this right. I want to do CTS1 over again because it won't show the experience and it won't show the amount of flights correctly for the Kerbals. So I'm not doing that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into this version of Kerbal. We're going to go into squad. We're going to go into flags. Huh. Ah. Yes. Pathfinder. Let's copy that. Why isn't Pathfinder coming through? Oh, it's 260 by 160. Game don't like it. Okay. Yeah, if you select the flag, it doesn't do nothing. Ain't gonna feel like that. Alright, well, I'll have to figure out a way to make those. Don't worry, the weather's so confused right now, even the weather forecast models don't agree with what's going to happen in 6 hours, and they change your prediction wildly every 15 minutes. You're just as likely to get nothing. The storm should be going north. It should be going north of me, Aqualex. Should be, but yeah, it should. Everybody's model is saying it's going to go north, so here's the hoping, I guess. Snow, Alucard. Alright. Jeb and Bill. Let's go. You're getting 20 centimeters of snow in Toronto. That's what I'm saying, Canadian. It's going towards you. It's going to go right up the St. Lawrence Seaway, from what I can tell. I was watching the news this morning. How many storms would you like the Mid-Atlantic to send you this year? 0? Snow is not that bad if it's the yellow one. Okay. Let's get the new met time, and I'll modify the mission log. Launch date is year 1, day 12 at 4:45. Should be the same price. Nope, get rid of that. We're not putting it in this save. Alright, let's do this. We're going to start out world first milestones. Hey, alright. Alright, that's a lot of dip. We have discovered there's an airfield in the desert on Kerbal. Okay. Okay. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. Liftoff, the replay of CTS-1 from yesterday. We start a new space program. This time, in the right reality. Okay. Everything's looking good there. Roll program is complete. Vehicles now have found the right azimuth for proper orbital insertion. Boosters and ignition. Okay. Throttling back the engines for maximum dynamic pressure. Pathfinder, go at throttle up.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Roger, go at throttle up. You did it again. You did it again. Nice. All right. Okay, all systems looking good here. Orbiter is now supersonic. Okay, everything's looking good. Thrust tail off on the SRBs, standing by for separation. I don't know why it did that. That wasn't good. It bounced off the wings, but it didn't damage anything. Yep, no, we're clean. It pitched over on separation to lock in, dude. That I forgot to. I know what I did wrong. I'm an idiot. It's okay. I didn't enable pitch on the uphill there. That was the problem. Yeah, it was pitching over because of the thrust differential. It's fine. I know exactly what's wrong. Or what went wrong. If you go and watch the VOD from yesterday, I enabled the pitch control on this on the way up. I didn't do it there. So we had our center of thrust went away from our center of mass, so when I separated the boosters, it pitched. It's because it has no payload in it. I am 150% sure that that's what's going on. Redo the redo? No. As long as the behavior is understood, I don't think it's a big deal. Maybe 154% sure, yeah. Okay. Your single engine TAL. Not during ascent, Vagabond. No, that's not happening. This was a trash ascent. This was a trash ascent. This was a trash orbit. We're still NOI. It's still nominal, but this is terrible compared to yesterday. This is why I don't like launching right away, but it's okay. It's all right. We're 124 by 10. That's hard. Yeah, we're not going to get both the boosters back. That one's way too far away. I took too long. It's a shame, because, yeah, switch over, but it's alright. Okay. It's a little bit of a shaky start for the day. I'm not too happy about it, but it's alright. Come on. Let's see if we can get one SRB. Calm blackout. It went over the horizon. Okay. We have loss of signal as expected here. Switching on the orbiter maneuvering engines. Why does it always do that? It remembers where I left off in the synthwave playlist, but it doesn't remember what the volume setting was. Is a submarine possible in Kerbal? Yes. Tidris will fix the problem, Chief. Okay. Oh, hey, Fork. Long time no see. Fellas, yeah, past couple of days have been pretty stressful for me. But it's okay. We have missions to do, places to go, people to see. Just gotta let this fine filtered bean water kick in and we'll be A-okay. Okay. Orbiter, you're on orbit. I gotta turn the fuel cells on. And it's kind of important, EJ. Okay. Fuel cells are on. You have a go for payload bay door open. Hey, there we go. How's the snowblower? Passing, I stayed up and fixed it. All I gotta do is mess with the set screws to get the belt for the auger pulley to be good, and it'll work. I stayed up last night. I got frustrated that all my tools are all up on the ground, so I finished everything. Snowblower's back in one piece. And I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't care if I have to rebuild it. I don't care. I don't care if I have to rebuild it. The reason why is because I had a bad experience the last time I left something like completely apart in pieces. I had a bad experience. I don't care if I have to take it apart again. Taking it apart will take me 5 minutes. Yeah. The truck. That's not a good idea. You shouldn't do that. So I slammed it back together and I put the whole thing back together. The only thing that needs to be changed is the belt drive, but it works. It leaks oil, but it works. I don't care. The thing leaks oil out of the auger gearbox. I got new Permatex, and if we have to take that whole thing apart again, we'll do it. It's not a problem. You know, I couldn't leave it like that, but it was too late. But yeah, I ended up cleaning the shop after that, and I ended up staying up till like 4 in the morning. If it leaks oil, it means it's got oil. That's right, Skull. Yeah, the helicopter principle. Yeah, I'm with you. So it's a Land Rover, indeed. So what's this shuttle called? This is Pathfinder, Drummer, but I don't have the flags dialed in. My shuttle flags aren't working because they're not the right pixel count. They're 260 by 160, and the game's looking for 256 by 160 for resolution. So I need new flags. But this is Pathfinder. Pathfinder is my orbiter. This is 106. I literally just kept going with the shuttle's naming convention. So 105 is Endeavor, 106 is Pathfinder. Because... Did you see that Ferd might be joining with Red Bull in 2026? Ford? Supercar, sweet. Wait. My Ford? The Ford... They want to join Red Bull? Where did you hear this? I don't want to support Red Bull, damn it. I don't want to support Red Bull. No, you can't make me. Ford link to F1 return with Red Bull. Oh no. No. I don't want to root for him. Oh, damn. Oh no, not like this. The car giant was last officially involved with F1 with Jaguar? No. Ford owned Jaguar, so yes, from 2000 to 2004. Ford's been involved with Formula One a lot longer than that, Hellfish. Sorry, I need to clarify every single reaction. They did own Jag, absolutely. But they've been involved with F1 a lot longer than that. In an official capacity. Dude. Oh God, please, I really hope that's not true. I don't want to root for Max. I hate that guy. Ah, no. You know, you actually own a Ford that you call Escape. The Escape's not a bad car, nearly. It's just a lifted sedan, that's what it is. Or just a lifted hatchback. It's just a crossover SUV. Dude, I mean... I've always said if Ford ever gets back into F1, I'm rooting for him. I'd root for them more than I'd root for Ferrari, which is... not a good thing. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Well, better chance of winning a championship than Ferrari. I know. Oh my God. Ah! What? You know what? That actually made my day a little better. That's cool, man. All right, so let's shut these doors out there. That's the ET door. Turn on the gyros for the orbiter. There we go. I'm not interested in what's going on in that on Twitter in that regard, Quasi. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not interested. If it doesn't have to do with space, I really don't care. On the stream. On stream. I'm gonna make a big clarification there. On stream. Red Bull gonna get a lot of DNF. Yeah, at least Ford potentially could throw their hat in the ring. I don't see any Chevy F1 cars. In fact, I've never seen any Chevy F1 cars, goalie. Maybe if you're gonna sit out in the peanut gallery, you should shut the frick up, boy. Found on Racecourse Dead. World! Out of nowhere? You just gonna kick me in the nuts like that? Out of nowhere! What did I do to you? Why? What? Sorry, it's funny. It's like, oh, hello there. You suck. Bye. I'm like, ow! Stop it! Stop! It hurts. Please, you're right. I hate Red Bull. Me too! Me too! I'm so conflicted, man! I don't know what to do! I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do with this? Oh, it's like my worst fear. It's so bad, man. My boat. I should just throw a coyote in the car. This is truly the darkest timeline, Yuck. Oh God, what am I supposed to do? Do I have to start making Ford jokes? I don't know. I'm so conflicted. Okay. All right. I'm over it. All right, we got to do a. Got to do a burn here with the orbiter. Hey Ford, what's going on? Have a Red Bull and think it over. I do like Red Bull, Kiranov. I like the drink. Red Bull is really good. I just can't drink it every day. Okay, we just got to trim out the orbit. Our orbital insertion was 124 by 100. So it was not ideal. What engine would Ford put in? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, dude. I just figured this out myself. It's gonna have to be new development. Or the EcoBoost. I mean, Goalie, to be 100% honest with you, I always thought that the big three, all three of the big three should get into Formula One with turbo technology motors. So, like, Chevy does have, like, this, what is it, the Zetec or the Zeta motor or whatever. And then Ford has the EcoBoost. Like, everyone's doing turbos nowadays. That's perfect for Formula One. Turbo hybrids, like, everybody's doing that. Yeah, exactly, Sawyer, yeah. It's got to be a totally new design. Yeah, I'm with you, Skull. I'm gonna trim out the orbit here. Just got to do one more tight burn here. Wonder where Porsche will go if that's true. Yeah, I'm not sure. Crew 6 mission patch has been revealed. And then just an unsolicited YouTube video. W, can you at least tell me what you're linking, please? We watched this video yesterday during the rocket launch. Yeah. Hellfish, yeah, I know. I'm redoing CTS1, Loopy. Mission is going fine. I had a couple of funnies on the way up. The boosters tipped the wings because I'm tired and I forgot to enable the control system here, but other than that, we're fine. They tipped the wings, but it didn't do any damage. We're all good. Okay. We're redoing it in the canon save. That's correct. Tiles are fine, Dama. Okay, so we're up at 100 by 100. And I'm gonna get our deorbit burn ready to go here. Can you not do this mid-mission? Please? Maybe, Fork. Maybe you did. Okay. I want to make it a note that we do not have signal through the ground stations, through the kRPC ground stations. Or not the kRPC, the Kerbal Konstructs ground stations. We do not have signal through those. I'm going to have to wait and see till Tidris gets up and running to really check. Maybe I didn't open the stations or something. I don't know. Okay, we'll go for deorbit burn. Can close the payload bay. Shuttle wouldn't fire while closing the payload bay doors, but we can do it now. I know all these systems work. Any moderators in chat, can you make the KSP mods command public, please? I got you, Cap. It's all good. Thank you, Ludwig. Okay, let's bring her down. Speed brake control is open. Body flap control set to deploy state. Okay. Body flap control is open. Deploy state on the speed brake is open. Shutting down the orbiter maneuvering engines. Capped, I keep it in chat and I keep it as a chat command, dude, because there's a dirty secret to streaming, dude. If you put it down there, people ain't gonna ask questions in your chat. I put commands in the chat so people can chat. And it makes conversation. Doing that for years, dude. Never fails me. My chat's always going, dude. The only time when chat quiets down is when everybody's chatted enough that they fall asleep. My engagement! I don't do it, but like here's the thing. My engagement, bro. Yeah, I don't do it to like drive numbers or anything. You could have 1,000 people watching if no one's talking in chat, that's fine. You know, as long as the viewers are there and you get your ad rev and subs, right? I drive engagement because I want to talk about space, dude. It helps me stream longer. That's the reason why I do it. Funny story. Funny story, bro. That's the reason why I do it. Yeah, that's why we have so many damn commands in the chat. You know, I want you to ask questions about space. It helps keep me going. I can stream for like 13 or 14 hours a day if you sit here and keep me talking. Straight up, dude. But yeah, if you have questions about the mods or anything or what I'm doing, just ask. I like that. Keeps you going, man. Missed the last part of your stream yesterday. Did you get the snowblower put back together? It's put back together, but it's leaking fuel everywhere. Or not fuel, it's leaking oil all over the place. I put it back together even though I knew it was going to be bad, NX, because I had a bad experience about taking something apart 10 years ago and never putting it back together. So I just slammed it back together last night at the end of the stream. And then I put it all back together and got it running badly with the belts and everything. Just makes it so the next time I take the thing apart, it'll get done perfect. Sure, what are the best features of the space shuttle and how does your shuttle compare? Down mass capability. Being able to bring stuff back down when you need it. Like your upper stage engines, for one. You sure it's not supposed to be grease in there? It's gear oil, Hellfish, from what I took out yesterday. I put motor oil back in there, just so it had something. It's leaking all over the place. That's okay, though. It's not a problem. But yeah, Jack, I really like the space shuttle. I'm gonna show you what this thing can do over the next couple of weeks through the holidays. I'll show you what this thing can, what they wanted to do with it. That's why I'm just trying to get these missions done. You know. I wonder if most KSP players like to wrench on stuff. I think they do, Capped. I just don't think they know it yet. It's the same tinkering mindset. I love messing with things. I love putting things back together, figuring out why they failed. It's literally Kerbal's gameplay in a nutshell. Yeah, dude, I'm with you. Hard with you on that one. Uh, 219, don't mind Goalie in chat. He's just pissed off because recently he found out how much Chevy and Dodge are pieces of junk. It's okay. Don't mind him. Stop, he's already dead. Fight me. I drive a Dodge, can confirm. I don't mind Dodge, and I don't mind Chevy either. I just really like giving Chevy guys crap. Because they really like giving Ford guys crap for some weird reason. I don't know why though. I don't know why you'd want to give Ford crap. It's not like they invented how automobiles are manufactured or anything. Copycats. You just gotta copy Ford. I see how it is. Alright. It is working, CU. Badly, but it works. You love the sass. Goalie and I like giving each other crap, dude. It's pretty fun. Alright. We're going to begin our S turn. We're 1,800 across the coast. That's actually kind of slow. That's alright, though. But see, look. Jack, you asked why I like the space shuttle so much. Do you see what I'm doing right now? Literally drifting the space shuttle through re-entry. The real space shuttle does this. What other re-entry vehicle do you know surfs a wave of plasma? Like the space shuttle does. That is the most badass thing I think I've seen from the shuttle. It's so cool. The fact that they drew this thing up on a blueprint, like on paper, and it works the way that it did is frankly astonishing to me. Like, how did you even do that? SR-71? Oh, at these... Dude, even at these speeds, Taradra, the SR-71 would burn up. Dude, seriously, pointy noses are no good at hypersonic speeds. Pointy nose is not good. Pointy nose gets you killed. Because the plasma gets too close. The wake that you leave is too close to your vehicle. Straight up. Okay, roll reversal. Back to the left. Back into the left. Back. Hey, Rasmio. And Tara, thanks for the raid yesterday, dude. What were you playing? I'm sorry, I was kind of into whatever I was doing, dude. What were you up to yesterday? The only thing I ever used in my cars is a Ford 9-inch. That's fair. It's a great rear end. So more pointy is more scary? And not necessarily. It's all about how close the wake is. We're coming in way slower than normal. She's alright. I mean, it's still enough to get back. It's just not really where I was planning on going. No worries, bro. I got you. KSP hard mode. Made a helicopter and had to manually recover a pod because it had 50 EVE experiments. I needed to send a Minmus for processing. Word. That's cool, man. The Ilya. Хорошо. Landing at KSC, Kerbal Space Center, indeed. So one of that speed break. We're coming in a little hot here. Generally, more pointy is more scary because heat load increases with respect to 1 divided by radius squared, where r is the radius of the nose of the part going through entry. So if the nose radius gets closer to 0, heat load goes towards infinity. Yep. So Rocket, somebody asked me that question the other day, is like, would a more pointy nose be better? And I said, I didn't say that. I mentioned that the point is going to get super hot, but also like the boundary, right? Because if you have a really pointy nose, plasma is going to heat up the side of your vehicle. It's going to heat up the sides instead of the front. That heat's got to go somewhere. But it has to be pointy. It's not pointy enough. Funny thing is, at hypersonic speeds, when you're going really, really fast, pointy is not going to get you very far. I hate how KSP randomly stalls helicopter blades for no reason. We lost a pilot once and had to bail another flight as well. The whole thing is stable. Blade physics in this game over time, though, is wonky and makes me sad. What is it doing, Taradra? What do you mean? It stalls the blades for no reason? Okay. Do you guys like doing this at the? You guys keep redeeming it like at critical points. I'm not doing. I'm not changing my hat until we're down on the ground. So Taradra, when blades go above 420 RPM, they start doing weird things. Okay. I'm serious. It's true. My 4-year-old would like to know, you're landing at the main runway or the island? I'm landing on the main runway, Rothma. The reason why is because my shuttle doesn't have any engines. It doesn't have any engines, and it basically can't speed up again. So what I like to do is I like to go past KSC, hit the brakes, turn around, and come back. Because I always like getting to my destination with a glider and then slowing down, right? That makes sense, right? You don't have any engines. So I always make sure that my shuttle gets to the base first, and then, you slow down by turning around. Can you make it more like Buran? No. That's like saying, hey, I want to take my Corvette and make it look like a dumpster. No, I don't like Buran. I don't want it. You don't get your engines back. Okay, coming in for final heading alignment here. Jeb's gonna bring her home. Interesting. Trotter, I'll read that up in a second, okay? Okay, we're down. Speed brake, close. Actual brakes on. We're down. Yeah, I know, Rocket Guy, I always forget to do it. Want to take us up the hangar, chat? Gonna dust it off first. Yeah, hypersonic. I made it fly, try to fly like the real one. It really, really, really creates a lot of drag. Where's Top Gun? I can't do that anymore, man. It makes me sad. No shoots? I don't need shoots. Convoy 1. Convoy 1. Wheel stop. Oh, that's so legit, dude. Any quick tips for common problems you run into, like building a shuttle, a line center, a thrust center, a mass on liftoff? More things like you have to clip these parts to get it to simulate something in real life? Not as much as you might think, Capt. There is clipped parts on that shuttle, but it's not as bad as there's nothing that's not in the same spot that it actually is on the real thing, you know? Yeah, hypersonic. I actually think that there might be. So, like, my shuttle, Cap, has a crew tank inside of it. The head of the shuttle has a crew tank that's actually inside of a fairing. You can see it right there. See? There's a hitchhiker inside of a fairing, and the fairing basically is attached to the payload bay, so it occludes it, so it gets it to fly correctly. And then my entire front, the nose cone of my shuttle is a fairing as well. So there are clipped parts here and there, dude. There, absolutely. But yeah, it's not as much as you might think. There we go. Crew out. Jabber. Take your helmet off. There we go. Hey, you didn't trip this time. Where are the fire trucks? I don't have those. Oh, Billiam. There we go. Pathfinder coming back home from another mission. Or from, well, not technically another mission, but also not another mission. Can you shuttle to the moon? No, this is designed to launch tugs that can get out to the moon. Think about adding tiny details under the windows for the flight on each orbiter. We could. We could. You know what I need to do? I need to get my Astro van out. Oh, this is so legit that you could just park this thing. You could just go and store it. Oh, Kerbal Konstructs is dope. All right, that's the one mod people. If you ever suggested Kerbal Konstructs to me in the past and I said no, I don't want to use mods, I will concede you were right. You were absolutely right. You were absolutely right. Kerbal Constructs, dude. Kerbal Constructs would have made Mission Mode 2 1,000 times better. Like 1,000 times better. I need to dedicate some time watching your first shuttle build someday. So many hours. Yep. Yeah, that would have made Mission Mode way better. And that's the one. Kerbal Constructs is the one mod I'm like actually super regretting that I didn't ever get into until now. It's a shame. That is a damn shame. How long has that mod been around? How long has Kerbal Constructs been around? You know what? I almost don't want to hear the answer. Okay, recover Bill. Recover Jeb. Recover my orbiter. For a long time, pre-90. I'm sorry, dudes. That's the one I will concede. Yeah, if we had constructs in the beginning, Mission Mode 3 would have, or Mission Mode 2 would have been amazing. Like, amazing. Goading Chet into saying, told you so. Are you going to put the station into an inclined orbit? I haven't decided yet, Admiral, believe it or not. I'd want to do more simulation missions so I could dial in my re-entry from an inclined trajectory. Like, what would a re-entry look like coming in from an inclined orbit? That complicates things, dude. The reason why it complicates things... Alright, so... Hang on. Mission success. Crew duration. So year 1, day 13, came down at 0, colon 1, 1, colon 0, 0. The reason why that gets complicated is now we need to test the shelf life. Yeah, hypersonic, that's true. That's true. Don't forget you. What? I'm confused. Oh, the helicopter problem. Yes. Hold on. And I need to change my computer. Okay. So I have an airship of sorts. It has vertical blades and horizontal blades. I set the vertical and forget it. Then when I'm high up, I set the horizontal to fly. Neither go over 420. When I reach a destination, I slowly decelerate the horizontal blades. For some reason during that, it causes a stall at about 60% of the time. The copter just falls at approximately 50 meters a second, and there's no way to really stop it. I saved it once on a fluke. I'd have to look at the craft, dude. I'd have to look at the craft, Taradra. That doesn't sound like the blades. It sounds like whatever you're asking it to do is not working exactly how you intend. I mean, obviously. I'm pretty sure I could fix that. Oh, nice, Admiral. Yeah. Yeah, I would have to do more checks with A, the shelf life of the shuttle, and B, yeah, coming back and re-entering from a different inclination. You probably would really like Kerbal Attachment, Kerbal Inventory, but they're sort of obsolete now. I sent an entire space station to Minmus in a box. Yeah. You would just have to time your re-entry so you cross the equator right at the start of that S-turn. That wouldn't be too much to correct for if it were just a 6-degree Minmus inclination. For sure, Loopy. Yeah. Shelf life. Does the game reset the build every time you launch? It depends. If you're launching something out of the VAB every time, yeah, you're basically getting a newly manufactured spacecraft. But if Tuna, I actually found that if you reuse stuff, so like, for instance, if at one point I was trying to take stuff that landed on the runway, bring it back over and launch it again, Parts do wear out in Kerbal over time. That absolutely happens. Stuff bends. How goes the missions? Good. We've done one shuttle mission already. Yeah, we've done a shuttle mission already, so that's good. Now, while the changes are fresh in my mind, we're going to do the second one now, where we test out the arm. The only reason I can think of having Clyde Station is for ease of min-miss transfer, which makes sense if we're going to min-miss use any sort of few depot or deep stop over point. It emulates reality, Tuna, but it does it for the wrong reasons. It's because of float point error. That's why it does that. But yeah. Stuff does fatigue in Kerbal. It absolutely does happen. It's not... that wasn't intentional, though. It's kind of by accident because, yeah, float point. Float point is basically rounding errors in how stuff is placed. Because float point basically reduces stuff to like a 6... reduces, like, the numbers in the game to, like, a 6 decimal place thing. And when it does that, when you reduce stuff like that and you round off numbers that are really, really small, like if you have pi, it'll reduce pi to the first couple of digits. And that's not... yeah, you get some rounding errors, and then that's kind of why stuff bends and breaks. The Crippen and Young Stations combo was the best setup. Yeah, we can always do 2. Alright. This one is going to test the arm. Okay, so a couple of things that I need to change. Rocket Guy, we're changing that now. I need to disable steering off the rear gears. That was an issue for the longest time. I saw that one of the SRB attachment pins wasn't set to same vessel collision. That could have ended poorly in the future. So like 219, here. I know you're looking at this and going, what the frick is that? So, that is a slip pin. I made it out of thermometers and RCS balls. I call it a thermal bearing. So, one of the RCS balls has thermometers attached to it, and the other one doesn't. The one with the thermometers attached to it is attached to the external tank, and the one with the one that's not attached to anything is attached to the SRB. And then I have an action group to have these parts interact with each other, and it's a slip pin. I can actually hold my external tank up with my SRBs and the shuttle attached to it without any docking ports. That is right there. That's stronger than a strut because these are physicsless parts. Interesting thing, and Tuna, you'll appreciate this. I said that parts bend and they drift in Kerbal. Those parts don't because they're physicsless. Kerbal has this thing for optimization called physicsless parts. Physicsless parts are like cubic octags and fuel lines and thermometers and stuff. Parts that doesn't really make sense to do a calculation on for like aerodynamics. So the physicsless parts, what they do is they apply their information, like how much it weighs, what's its shape. It applies that to the piece that you connect it to. That's called a parent part in 3D hierarchies, right? So it applies those physical properties to the parent part, and because the physicsless part, it has a hitbox, don't get me wrong, but like the aero and heat simulations are offloaded, so you actually get a little bit of optimization. So like despite the shuttle being 800 parts, it flies like a shuttle with 500 parts, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of physicsless parts in here. No, Iron Spark, we didn't, thank God. Yeah, exactly, Gagan. Float point is what causes part drift, Kagan, right? It's just the relationship. Sometimes if you're moving, like a robotic part, for instance, it's going to round the decimal for you, right? Even though that's not exactly what it is. So, like, if you reload the scene and a robotic part is bending, right? And you reload the scene, it's going to round it, and it'll round it, and it'll drift apart. It'll just literally metal fatigue. It's literally metal fatigue, but it's metal fatigue for the wrong reasons, which is why we have KRAKEN bearings and stuff. That's why I even bothered with hybrid tech. So I have a rocket. But that's not loaded in here is the end of that sentence. We have MLV, and MLV has a combination of robotic and physicsless part landing legs, and those landing legs work every time. They never break. Which is cool. But yeah, Tier 19, if you're not here, I hope somebody that's watching this got something out of that. Physicsless parts are cool. You can do a lot of cool stuff with them. I see, so weight is applied to the whole vehicle, but it isn't calculating the motion of the individual part. Not the aero and the heat. Physicsless parts are still susceptible to physics. But, so like, they're still susceptible to gravity, right? If the thing blows up and the physicsless parts fly everywhere, they're not just going to float off into space. They'll come back down. But the aerodynamics are offloaded. And because they're a physicsless part, they don't drift. They don't bend. They don't break. Like my... It's funny, a couple of times we've rode my external tank down after I jettison it, and it comes back down and it blows up. And the physicsless parts, they don't bend. The fuel line just stays in that shape and just goes all the way to the ground. Are struts physicsless? Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. When I say physicsless, I mean they're not susceptible to aerodynamics and not susceptible to heating. That's what that means. That process is offloaded to whatever part you attached it to. All right, guys, we ready to fly second mission? CTS2, we're going. I want Tidris done by today. Oh, actually, there's an engine test, the RS-25E in real life. That's gonna happen soon. We'll split CTS2. We'll split the coverage. So we need Val and Bob on this flight. They need orange suits. Because obviously. Yeah, that's what I got out of that. Thanks. You used the wrong word. Oh, okay, all good. Sorry for misunderstanding. Yeah. Physicsless parts are really cool. Like, I'll show you, man. I got a pretty decent computer, but I built this computer in 2017. Or, well, I didn't build it. Chat built it for me and then donated it to the stream because they were sick of bad frame rates. That's the truth. Anyway, this is a decent computer. This is an 800 part shuttle. With payload, it can get up to 1,000 parts. You see how it flies. It doesn't fly like a 1,000 part shuttle, does it? Physicsless parts actually, this is like, I've tested this. They actually, you could have 1,000 part vehicle. If 500 of it is physicsless parts, it's not going to act like a 1,000 part vehicle. It'll act like I'm making up numbers, but it'll act like a 750 part vehicle. You'll get similar simulation rates. So part of the reason why I went ham with this shuttle, right, is because, like, I put physicsless parts in here. There's flags inside of the payload bay to make it look like a payload bay, right? And then there's pins right here to hold different payloads in. It's all physicsless parts. That doesn't matter. That's not going to screw your frames too bad. No rush. The RS-25E test window is set to open at 3. First RS-25E production restart engine test fires at 2:30. Got it. So we got time. KSP 1, Lavi, has support for multi-threading. It does. It's on Unity 5. You can use multi-threading with this game. That's fine. All right. We're going. That's the right thing. That's the right way to say it, Grav. KSP1 only multi-threads separate vessels. That's right. So it favors a lot of small vessels that are, like, you'll get better frames if you have 800 part vessels rather than one 800 part vessel. Let's face it, you went ham on the shuttle because it's a shuttle. Yep. Interesting. During Apollo, when the command module docked with the LEM, the two vehicles became one. This changed the physics of the vehicle, which astronauts had to take into account. During Apollo 13 especially. Absolutely. It's not... Well, yeah, of course. So, here, think about... Okay, so think about this. Let's take a look. Tune into this. And this is stuff that Kerbal will really... This is stuff that Kerbal really is good at. So, you take the service module, right? The service module and the command module, when it's flying, right? If it's free flying by itself, the service module and capsule center of mass is right here. So the thrusters are gonna, if you fire the downward facing thrusters, when the CSM is flying by itself, it's gonna go up and down, and it's gonna be able to strafe left and right, right? And then if you fire half of the thrusters, you can pitch, or you can yaw, you can pitch, and you can roll. Now, you want me to screw with your head a little bit? How does that work when the vessel interfaces to the LEM? Do you get the RCS to fire in tandem? Now you're complicating your spaceship. If you get the RCS to work, can you control the RCS on the LEM from here? The answer is no. No, you could not. No. The reason why, well, why? How do I know that? How do I know that for sure? I know that for sure because there's no maneuvers that are required here. There's no maneuvers that are required here that required this as one ship to dock to anything, right? This thing should be able to translate. It should be able to go up, down, left, right, forward, and back by itself. And the LEM needs to be able to go up, down, forward, back, left, and right only with the ascent module. It could redock with the descent module attached, maybe, but it's not really designed to do that. It's only designed to redock with the ascent module, right? Why? Because if the mission is going right and this thing is attached, you're not going to attach these two things back together, right? So, how does the thing fly around when it's flying like this? Well, all you got to do is keep the thing on an even keel to do course corrections. Right, Tuna? You don't need to go up, down, left, right, forward, and back. You can turn the vessel and then fire the forward thrusters and go in a different direction and it'll work just fine. Interesting, right? But you have to be careful. Too much thrust could pop the ascent module because the ascent module is quite literally an aluminum balloon. It is, the walls of that thing are paper thin. I've talked to guys that flew it. There, you could punch a hole in that thing. Like, not aluminum foil, but close. You couldn't punch a hole in it. It would hurt. A hammer could put a dent in it, like a pretty big dent. See, Zombie, that's one of the things that Orion is way better at. Orion can do that. It absolutely can. Orion has the ability built in to be able to interface with other vessels that it attaches to and control the systems of said vessel. So, in the future, if we have an Apollo-style lander for Orion, it could do it with Starship too, if you want to just use that. Orion will dock with Starship, and Orion can actually control Starship systems on board. They're designed to work with each other. Must have been a pain engineering that thing to withstand the service module engine. Yeah, that's right, Ian. It's crazy. Ian, I still can't believe this thing actually worked. Ian, you want to know something that I actually learned about this thing that blew my freaking mind? Let's go to our good friend, not good friend, but I don't know the guy. But let's go to Random Unreal. Let's go to the relevant XKCD. So check this out. I actually didn't really know this. I never bothered to realize it, but so this is the Upgoer 5, right? It goes up and it has 5 engines. Upgoer 5, right? Did you guys know that the LEM, so the LEM is riding in the vehicle stage adapter, right? There's a structural component here. The idea is that when the LEM is flying, it's being held up from the descent module. And when the CSM is flying, it's being held up by the vehicle stage adapter. Did you guys know that the LEM is attached to the S4B from its landing legs? It's actually not attached at the bottom of the descent module. It's attached onto the strut structure of the landing legs, which is part of the reason why the landing legs needed to fold in. I was looking at the LEM the other day and I was like, what the heck? No. But it makes sense if you think about it. If you look at this picture of this thing out on the moon, you could see the attachment point where it attached to the outer forward skirt of the S4B. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense when you think about it, but I always thought that it would have been like a cylindric interstage adapter down here or something attached to the descent module. No, it's hanging by its legs. Why wouldn't it? It's supposed to land on those. Of course it does that. It's actually really freaking smart. Like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, that's a really good idea. That does make sense because they're already designed to hold the mass. Yeah, man, and best part is no part. Am I right? That's... you know what, man? Screw me for not knowing that. Like, I feel like I should have known that. But also, damn, that's impressive. Yeah, it's just held up right here, right at the structural point of the legs, right there. So this is a 3D model, but it would be right there. See that flange right there? That's where, yeah, it's just held up there. See these big structural pieces? Look at how beefy. This is a nice model. Look at how beefy those struts are compared to the landing struts. There's a reason for that because it's that's the payload attachment fitting for the LEM. Gosh, dang, that's smart. It's already built for it. Just hang it from the legs. Why not? It makes perfect sense. Look at how beefy those struts are. They're way beefier than this. God dang, that's smart. Like, I couldn't believe it. If you go in and just go S4B in here, you can actually see it. It's just hanging on its landing legs. See? What the frick? How did I miss this? I mean, I was just reading about the LEM the other day and I'm like, wait. Huh? No, it's attached. Yeah, it's on the conic adapter. God dang, that's smart. It's almost like someone put real thought into this design. Yeah. Ben Gizmo, yeah, exactly. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say, like, well, you know, they didn't need to do much effort to get to the moon. What blows my mind, dude, is that they did this in less than 10 years. Like, that right there is not something that you just come up with. You know what I mean? That is the result of crazy amount of prototyping and thought analysis and design. Like, it looks so simple. The simplest ideas, I find this happens all the time. The simplest things with engineering are the hardest things to come up with. It's really interesting. Anybody can make an abstract engineering concept. It is real, like, the really good engineers can figure out a way to reduce a stakeholder expectation to like one single thing. That's really hard to do. It's just a testament to the engineering prowess that these guys had. And they drew it on a freaking they were drawing this thing on a drawing board. Yeah, they started out with nothing. It's crazy how good this design actually is. Like, even the probe and drogue. Probe and drogue for Apollo. Soyuz ended up using something like that too. That docking port looks familiar, right? It's because the Russians copied it. Like, it's really mind-blowing stuff. So, before we get into launch this next mission, I want to read something here. Let's read about STS-2. I know they tested the ARM on STS-2. I want to see what they did with it. My last is a good video if you're interested in inflatable habitats in space. Yeah, I'm interested in Empanta. except when they pop. We saw them yesterday, dude. It's pretty cool. I didn't know that the command module was connected to the service module with an umbilical. I thought they were connected through the heat shield, but no, that would leave a big hole in the shield. Yep, that's right. Here, check this out. So if we go down here and we go to my buddy Chris B's Twitter feed, the guy, the managing editor for NASA Spaceflight. You want to see something cool, Tuna? So this is the Artemis 1 Orion. This just came back from the moon. See that umbilical? What do you think that is? Same thing, dude. Old tricks are the best tricks. That's the umbilical to connect all the consumables and electronics to the service module. It goes around the heat shield. This is not just Orion. Look at Dragon 2. State-of-the-art 21st century spacecraft. Oh, it's got the same thing. See? Same thing. Starliner has it too. See? There it is. Hey, there's only so many good ways that you can do this. That right there is called convergent design. Convergent design, and it's part of the reason why most cars have 4 wheels. Because the cars with 3 wheels get turned into space shuttles. See? Eventually, there's only so many good ways to do it. 3 wheels aren't very reliable. Still one of my favorite episodes of Top Gear, man. That's still one of my favorite episodes, dude. I can't believe that actually freaking worked. It's so freaking funny, dude. Oh my god. Then failed to disconnect from the tank and smash into the ground. Yeah, we don't talk about that part. We don't talk about that part. I wish it would have landed. They should have done a sequel to that. They should have done a sequel. The Reliant Robin episode is one of my favorite Top Gear episodes of all time, dude. It's really good. Hey AJ, have you looked in depth at how Orion steers during re-entry? I find the whole off-center and mass thing so cool. Yeah, Coop, absolutely. That's another Apollo idea, dude. That came from the Apollo program. Yeah. Smart. Offset center of mass. Use roll control RCS to change heat shield angle of attack. You can steer the capsule in. Oh yeah, and the best part about that is, Coop, you can do that in Kerbal. Absolutely. I want to make an Orion-esque capsule for my space program, and we will sooner rather than later. Once we get the shuttle and the space station and everything kind of up and running, I'll do it. But I can show you how to do that in Kerbal. It's really not too hard. You just literally just put all your RCS tanks and all your inventory containers and everything on one side of your capsule. That's it. It's that simple. I'll make something up, dude, and it'll be cool, man. You'll like it. It cost Top Gear and the BBC over £500,000 to get that thing off the launch pad. That's why there wasn't a sequel. Spaceflight is expensive. All right. Anyway, I want to read about STS-2 here before we jump in. We need to get this mission done, but I need to see what they did with the arm. I want to see if I can replicate it. STS-2 was the second space shuttle mission conducted by NASA in the second flight of Columbia. The mission, crewed by Joe Engle and Dick Truly, launched on November 12, 1981, and landed 2 days later on the 14th. STS-2 marked the first time that a crewed, reusable orbital vehicle returned to space. I missed the shuttle. This mission tested the shuttle imaging radar as part of the OSTA-1, Office of Space and Terrestrial Applications payload. Yep. Along with a wide variety of other experiments, including the shuttle robotic arm, commonly known as Canadarm. Other experiments or tests included shuttle multispectral infrared radiometer, feature identification and location experiment, measure of air pollution from satellites, ocean color experiment, night-day optical survey of lighting, Hexflex bioengineering testing, and aerodynamic coefficient identification package. I don't know what any of those do. The Mars Science Laboratory and Perseverance used deployable tungsten ballast masses to change the center of mass of the entry capsule at different flight regimes. Man. Okay. One of the feats accomplished was various tests on the orbiter maneuvering system, including starting and restarting the engines while in orbit and various adjustments to the orbit. The OMS test did help adjust the shuttle's orbit for use of the radar. During the mission, the president called the crew of STS-2 from the Mission Control Center in Houston. In the early planning stages, STS-2 was intended to be a reboost mission for the aging Skylab station. However, such a mission was impeded by delays with the shuttle's development in the deteriorating orbit of Skylab. Skylab ultimately deorbited on July 11, 1979, 2 years before the launch. Yep, okay. Cool. Oh, mama. Well, it looks like we need to make a science palette for this bad boy. We still got 30 minutes until the, we got 30 minutes until that engine test. So, shall we? Yep, because you don't want an offset COM to cruise to Mars, as that complicates the controls in flight. Then one side of the tungsten masses were deployed to achieve the desired lift-to-drag ratio during re-entry. Then the other side of the ballast masses were deployed after entry to realign the center of mass to get a clean heat shield and back shell deployment. Rocket Guy, you know what's interesting? You go and watch like the animation of these things coming down and landing, right? You know, if you watch the 3D, like if somebody Googles like, oh, Curiosity landing or Perseverance landing, even if you're watching the real-time footage, you don't see this stuff, right? Like, for some reason, dude, like when I was younger, I had it in my mind that like, oh, the space shuttle, for instance. The space shuttle can just fly up there and fly back down. It is like the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars, you know? It just flies up, boom, comes right back down, flies like an airplane, lands no problem. Like this, don't get me wrong, this is like 20 years ago, right? As you get older, you realize there's a lot of tricks that engineers are doing to get these things to work right. Like it is not like Star Wars where the ship can just take off and just right up into space. Like, it's not that easy, man. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of little idiosyncrasies like that you don't learn about that you wouldn't really think about, actually. That's the right way to say it. You learn about it later, right? Like, you know, and then like kid me thought the entire Saturn V made it to the moon. I'm like, wow, that whole thing, that skyscraper makes it to the moon? Man, technology's really progressing, isn't it? You know? But yeah, dude, that's cool. They used blocks of tungsten to trim the heat shield out. That's cool, man. I think that's really neat. You know, you see, it's like, oh yeah, just re-enter on Mars. Okay, no big deal. No, it's not that simple. Yeah, that's right, Panta. Mm-hmm. That's, dude, finding out that kind of stuff, man, is like, that's the rabbit hole that is aerospace engineering, man. That's the rabbit hole. Or spaceflight, I should say. It's not just aero. That's the freaking rabbit hole, man. Alright, so what I want to do for this mission mode save is I want to have a shuttle that's a dedicated, like, testing, SPH testing equipment. So what I'm going to do Okay, so this is the Collins Transportation System 5th generation orbiter. Orbiter standalone craft file. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this and just get rid of it. I just want a file that's just the orbiter by itself, so when we go to make payloads for it and stuff, we don't have to worry about the fairings from the tanks and whatnot getting in the way. What did I miss? I redid CTS1. I redid it in my mission mode save. Everything went fine. But now I'm getting ready to fly Flight 2. Hey, did you guys know that ad block got updated? Here, we want money. Nope. Well... So Rocket Guy, a pneumatic ejection system, right? Yeah, man, and I used kRPC. I was gonna use kRPC to automate booster landing, but yeah, it's just a pneumatic system that just pops it right out. Interesting. SDS2 was the last mission to have a white external tank. Of course, every one of our missions has a white external tank, but whatever. Once the shuttle gets to main engine cutoff, do they hit with something to purge the engines out? I think it's helium or nitrogen. Yeah, T-Man, it's helium. I'm pretty damn sure. I'd have to go look at the operations manual, dude, to be honest. Do we know why it took NASA so long to recover Orion? Yeah, Sebi. It didn't take them long. They left it in the drink on purpose. They left it in the drink. 2 reasons. They wanted to see how long they could leave it in the drink. And make sure that they were, they were like, oh, we should be able to leave it in the water for this long. So let's leave it in the water for this long and see what happens. And 2, they were testing how long the capsule can sit in the water and have the inside of the capsule not turn into a pressure cooker. Yeah, that's why it took so long. Orion flights in the future will they will not take that long. They'll have the thing picked up. They'll have the thing scooped up in the water, way faster than that. Like way faster. It'll take 2 hours for the whole recovery operation, not 6. Yeah, that's why it took so long. You can see the ballasts on the back shell there. Look at that, Ian. See, it's little stuff like that, dude. I mean, Ian, you just showed me this picture. I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know. I would say that that's just a cover to get at something. No. I gotcha. I was about to say the astronauts would not appreciate being left in the drink for that long. Exactly. But they tested it just in case to make sure that thing could sit for 5 hours with a sealed hatch before the crew suffocates. You know what I mean? And if I had to guess, the crew wouldn't suffocate after 5 hours, guys. If I had to guess, Sebi, that system is ridiculously over-engineered. I'll bet you that capsule could stay in the drink indefinitely for like a couple of days. Now, why? Why would I say that? Would you design a capsule that only could sit in the water for a couple hours? Think about that for a second. What if there's an emergency landing and they need to come down to the ocean? You know? You make that capsule float as good as a boat does, right? That's what you'd want to do. You want to make it so it doesn't sink. So it could be used as a life raft just in case. Like, why would you even screw around with this? It's not gonna be that much extra engineering to make the stupid thing float. It's already a sealed box, right? It's not gonna be too bad. What if they're in rough waters? What if they have to come down and they come down in rough waters? The recovery operation could take hours. so like, okay, so why did they only test it for 5 hours, EJ? Why didn't they leave it in the drink for a couple days? Because 5 hours is like the maximum amount of time they think that they think they'll need. The Navy could get it back. Of course it could. It wouldn't be pretty, but in rough seas, the Navy could get one of those back. Guys, it is ridiculously difficult to recover something out of the drink. Ask any Navy diver. It is tough. That's really hard to do, especially if the water is anything but calm. Like, guys, you saw it when they pulled that capsule in the other day. They had to stop 3 or 4 times because the thing started moving around. And you definitely don't want the capsule to hit the well deck of the ship. You don't want it to hit the ship. You don't want anybody to bash into it with a boat. You don't want any of the lines getting snagged and scratching the outside of it. The reason why you don't want any of that is because it's a test article. You want to analyze the data from the test article from the flight, not from the recovery operation, right? So if a boat bashes into it and dents the capsule, that could screw up your data analysis. So the capsule has to be mint. It has to be. Nothing can bump into that thing. Just on the test flight. Later down the road, yeah. Oh yeah. If you prove that it works, it's fine. Are there life jackets in Orion? Capability to bail out if needed. Well, that's a good question, dude. Orion is using the ACES, the Advanced Crew Escape System. And there's a couple of reasons, so that it's called a pumpkin suit. And there's a reason why it's bright freaking orange. It's bright freaking orange because the spacesuit is the life preserver, Elon. Space preserver is a life suit. These things have a life vest built into it. True story. That's why they use them. It's a very good design. Oh, cool, Aqualex. And also, I personally think that the Aces that's mint. Orange spacesuits are clutch. Orion will use the orange suits. They'll use the shuttle suits. See? Yeah, Aces is money, dude. It's a really good suit. Yeah, if you look, it's got flotation devices built into it. It's actually built into the back, if I'm remembering correctly. The flotation devices are in the back of the suit. But yeah, you can float with these suits indefinitely. It's airtight, so you'll float. The whole suit is a life preserver, but there is flotation devices built in as a backrest. How do I know that? How do I know that for sure, even though I can't give you a picture of it? Have you guys ever looked at the space shuttle seats? The space shuttle's flight deck seats are literally a folding chair. Does that look very comfortable to you? Does that look comfortable to you? That is a pretty damn good indicator that those suits have all kinds of padding in it. So I'm guessing the padding for the suit is the flotation device, and the suit, because it's high-vis orange, is designed to float. That does not look comfortable, man. That, dude, my IKEA Marcus chair is more comfortable than that. Yeah, Cap, sure. So, yeah, Sebi, that's why they did it. That's why it took so long. It wasn't a delay or anything. It was entirely on... Oh, hey, baby. Hi, Discovery. I love you. Oh. S-tier launch vehicle. Just S-tier. I miss that thing so damn much. I desperately want it back. Oh, Dragon, the space shuttle flight deck was no joke. The flight deck, so Ben Cooper, first of all. Ben Cooper took this photo. Should always give credit where credit is due. Ben Cooper is a very good launch photographer. See? Ben Cooper. So the shuttle has a flight computer, right? But it has manual backups for everything. That's why there's so many buttons, dudes. There's manual backups for everything. Personally, my favorite button is down here. It's one of those two buttons, or one of those two. I forget exactly. But the shuttle has a FADEC, just like a modern airliner. And what's crazy is that it had a FADEC like light years before anything else did. Shuttle's flight computer really... It didn't change the game, but... So what's a FADEC? Actually, it's not called a FADEC. It's a... what's the word for it? pilots. What's the word for the FMS, flight management system. FADEC is the ECU that controls the engines on an airliner. So, like, you go into this thing and you type in, boop, 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 boop. You type in what you want the shuttle to do, and it'll do it for you. The B1 computer sure is great, isn't it? Where's the FMS, the flight management system? Well, the input control for it is right there. You have a PFD and you have an MFD right there. And then what these readouts are, that's your fuel. So those are that's the amount of fuel you have in the OHMS engines, the 3 forward RCS tanks, or the 1 forward and 2 aft RCS tanks. Consumables is in the center, if I'm remembering right, but center stick. Yeah, of course. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think? It's gonna be on the side? Gross. Buran didn't even need people in the cockpit telling it what to do. Dirty little secret, man. Neither did the shuttle, but they always flew it with people. The shuttle could be hotwired to land remotely. Yeah, it could be. It's actually in Columbia's accident investigation report, Squidman, if you really want to know. They could literally hotwire the shuttle to land. Because I know that they could do it because in the Columbia accident investigation report, so the accident report after we lost STS-107 in Columbia, you know, they mentioned that a rescue contingency procedure would be to get Atlantis near Columbia and transfer the crew and then land Atlantis. But you don't want to leave an orbiter up there. So they mentioned that Columbia could be basically hotwired. You could basically tell it to land by itself. You could do it. You'd have to run some cables from the flight deck to the mid deck. So you'd have to rewire some things to take humans out of the loop, but it absolutely could be done. The shuttle could land by itself. They just never did it. I really, 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 really wished that they did that more, but by the time Columbia came, you know, by the time STS-107 came around, there's really no point in doing that. Yeah, Joe. What do you think about putting people on SLS after only one test flight? Merrick, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Dude, it's not... I know that seems ballsy. It's like, wait, what do you do? Wait, you're gonna do what? But, so... if it works, dude. Like, like... say you build a bicycle, right? You build a bicycle. You're obviously going to want to make sure like the chain drive works when you're building a bicycle. You want to make sure the brakes work. You know, you run the chain drive and you pull the brakes and the brakes go, right? You're going to put somebody, you're going to ride it around after you build it, right? After you do some quick testing, you're going to ride the thing around. Right? Why? Because it's a bike. It's not going to break. As long as you built it correctly, it'll be fine. Like, eventually the system, like, if you prove with the math and the physics and then have a test flight that it works, you shouldn't need more than one. The only time you're going to need more than one uncrewed test flight is if you screwed up the first test flight because you did something wrong. Which is the whole point of doing that test flight in the first place. But I told you, I've said this a lot, you know, a test flight in terms of how NASA and how Boeing and how a bunch of other, you know, a bunch of like legacy aerospace companies do testing. The test flight is a final exam. You don't want to learn anything on your final exam. Say you're taking an exam at school. Do you want to learn something during that exam? No, a requisite should be knowing all the data because it's testing your skills, right? Artemis 1 was basically testing everything on Orion, and Orion literally aced it and did the extra credit. Oh yeah, the thing worked so good that they had to come up with other ways to test the capsule. So, dude, like, here's the thing. I know it seems like, well, that kind of... physics doesn't lie. Physics doesn't change. Just because you launch one capsule, as long as you made the second capsule in the same exact way, it'll work. It'll do the same exact thing. Straight up. It'll work. Orion will work just fine. You know, you really have to make sure. You want to make sure on that final exam that you ace the test to show you're proficient in it, right? And if you ace the test, why not? The math doesn't lie. Physics doesn't change, dude. Thank God STS-1 wasn't RTLS. I mean, John Young knew. John Young knew what was good. New DLC for cities. I know, you better. I want to play it. But we got to get shuttle stuff done. I'm looking at, while I'm talking to you guys, I'm looking at pictures of space shuttle pallets. Yeah. Space shuttle pallets are pretty straightforward stuff. It's just basically a U-shaped box. Yep. That's the shuttle pallet. All right, we're going to build one of those so we can put stuff in the shuttle payload bay. Yeah. Convo between NASA and Congress, but why do you need new orbiters? The ones you have are good enough. They were supposed to be prototypes with fixes to major problems on the new ones. But these work, right? I mean, yeah, no new orbiters then. Yeah. Yeah, collects that in a nutshell. I mean, it's government acquisitions, dude. What do you want? Like, right? What do you want to do? So, Merrick, I don't really think it's a problem as long as the math checks out, dude. Yeah, see your point there. It is ballsy. So, Merrick, how else are we going to do it, though? That's the thing, man. How else are we going to do it? See, Apollo, when they did Apollo 4, when NASA launched Apollo 4 in 1967, it had a problem. And then they tried to fix it, and then they launched Apollo 6, and they still had a problem, right? And then they did Apollo 7 to prove that the CSM worked, and then they did Apollo 8 to prove that the Saturn V worked with people on it. So, Merrick, a lot of people don't know that Apollo 6 almost rutted. It almost shook itself to pieces. There's images. If you look at Apollo 6 damage, there's definitely images of stuff coming off of the vehicle that's definitely not supposed to come off. See? Dude, it almost shook the payload. It almost shook the payload off of the top of the vehicle. Think if you have a Christmas tree, right? Because it's the holidays and you have a star at the top, you shake the Christmas tree like this. The star is going to eventually fall off. That literally almost happened. Lateral pogo oscillations on top of up and down pogo almost destroyed that thing on the way up. But the next Saturn V mission had people on it, and it worked just fine because they proved that they had a fix for it. Look, see, dude, stuff if you don't intend for stuff to fall off of the rocket, i.e., like a stage or something. If you don't intend for that to happen and it happens anyway, that's bad. That's normalization of deviance. That right there is what got Challenger. You don't do that. They learned from Apollo. They didn't learn from the shuttle program, which is annoying, but hey, whatever. Also, yes, the flames do travel up the vehicle because of low pressure. Oh yeah. Starship's gonna do that. Bet your money, Starship's gonna do that. Shuttle did it. Bottom of the external tank got roasted after every launch. Just in case anybody was wondering, it's because of the low pressure. The rocket creates a vacuum, and there's a low pressure pocket here, so the flames actually travel up the side of the rocket. Pretty crazy, huh? So, yeah, it's not as... It is ballsy, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, dude, going to the moon is not any easy feat. Despite how easy it just looked. It's not easy to do, man. I understand vertical pogo, but how does lateral pogo work? Lateral pogo happens, Cerebral, from literally having a tall launch vehicle. You ever launch a really, really tall, skinny vehicle in Kerbal, and the top is doing this? Happens. It happened on Artemis 1. Hey, Josh, 30. Oh yeah, it happens. I'm trying to find the footage, but if you look at the onboard view from Orion looking down the stack right at ignition, the whole stack shakes. But what happens is it starts shaking around for a second, and so how NASA uses it, well, how they're doing it nowadays, is that if you notice, like the top of this is a very, very kind of peculiar shape. See what I'm talking about? Like it's conic right there, and then it kind of bows out, right? That shape is designed to basically compress the vehicle to get it to seat right and get the whole thing to fly straight to avoid that problem. But it still does happen. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's the exact thing that I'm looking for. Watch. Take a look. Watch this whole thing. Hello? And thanks, Cammy. I do appreciate it. Okay, watch up here. Look, see? Shaking all over the place. And then once it gets going fast enough, so the aerodynamics take hold, things stays together nice and easy. My rockets do that in Kerbal, by the way.
Discovery, going throttle up.
Rockets are very, 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 very aerodynamically unstable right after liftoff. So in the first 5 seconds after you left the pad, they are notoriously unstable. Why? Well, a lot of rockets use aerodynamics to stabilize. Think a rocket with fins at the bottom. Yeah. But think about an airplane flying down a runway. Like a Cessna doesn't just, unless there's a headwind, right? A Cessna just doesn't go whoop. You have to get going. You have to start going fast for the wings to do anything. Just because a rocket's going straight up doesn't mean that it doesn't have this problem. You know what I mean? Rockets are still very susceptible to aerodynamics, or in the case of a launch, lack thereof. I like that hat, Drool. Of course, Alleviate. Yeah, absolutely. It's NASA. See? And once the arrow kind of pushes once it starts getting going, the arrow kind of pushes everything into place and seats it. And they use the arrow. I wouldn't say that they use the aerodynamics for structure. That's not really the right way to put it. But it is there is compression load being introduced to the vehicle. That and the acceleration of the vehicle too, you know. Apollo 8 was ballsier than 11. Apollo 8 was crazy, man. Fun fact, the reason why they did Apollo 8 in the first place is because Grumman didn't have the lander done on time. Straight up, Apollo 8 was supposed to be the first landing, but the lander wasn't finished, so they said, all right, we'll do a circumlunar trajectory to test the capsule out in deep space. Inertia and compression load. Well, it's compression load from the inertia of acceleration, Panta, but yeah, you're on the right track, dude. Mm-hmm. Looking back on Apollo 8, since 13 happened, that was a risky flight. It's ballsy, yeah, because they didn't have any LEM. But Ian, I mean, that's what happens when someone drops the life support system on the ground and then doesn't tell anybody. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things, Aqualux, sure. I mean, that's what happens when somebody drops the damn thing. How do you have the inside face of the payload bay covered like that? Well, Gups, yeah, they're flags. They're flags just with a custom texture. You could do this in the stock game if you took the flag and you set it to the minimalistic. See? It's just flags. Flags actually have the option to be set as a panel. You can make flag panels now. Well, I'd say now. That's been in the game for some time. So, Luiso Piloto, a viewer in chat, made me a shuttle thermal blanket interior piece. And then I just put it in here. The reason why is because, well, my fuel cells are in the same exact spot that they are on the space shuttle. They're in the same spot. That's on purpose, man. When I say, oh, that looks really nice, RJ. Yeah, very nice. Looks good. Yeah, my fuel cells are in the same spot that they are on the space shuttle. These fuel cells are used for electricity and they're used for life support systems. Part of the ECLS. And they're right underneath the payload bay, right there. Guys, when you go to make a shuttle in Kerbal, if you just put the Mark III cockpit payload bay and put some engines at the back and then put wings on it, it's not going to fly right. Anybody ever have this problem? And if you try to move the wings around to get your center of mass, center of lift lined up, they'll be in a weird spot. So how did I get mine to fly right? Well, there's a trick there, just like the real shuttle. Let me go space shuttle diagram. Just like the real shuttle. So the real shuttle has this problem. The problem with the real shuttle is that you're literally carrying 3 Mack trucks worth of rocket engines on the back. And when I say these things are as big as a truck, I absolutely mean that. You want to see a good picture? Here's a good picture from the rocket test that's going to happen soon. Ian, did you retweet it? I thought you did. Man, you tweet a lot. I thought maybe Jack did it. Jack has some sweet pictures of Orion. I didn't think I did. Somebody tweeted about the test today. Maybe it was Chris G. I was reading about it this morning, the test firing. There's literally a picture of a truck moving the rocket. Did David tweet it? Let me see. Yeah, like I said, you're carrying literally a Mack truck's worth of rocket engine on the back, or 3 of them. Look at that. Look at this picture. That really drives the point home how big that engine actually is. It looks like, honestly, it looks like tweak scale. Seriously, it looks like tweak scale. It looks like when you make a part oversized in Kerbal. That's the size of the shuttle and SLS's engines. Look at those things. Look at it on the trailer. The thing is freaking huge. I mean, look at it. Look at it compared to the truck. Look at it compared to the car. Freaking motor's gigantic. So the shuttle has that hanging off the back. That's a problem. So, if you guys notice, see all the COPVs that are in there? Shuttle was one of the first spacecraft to use composite overwrap pressure vessels. In fact, the COPVs are a result of the shuttle program, actually. If you look up here at the front of the space shuttle, all this crap is jammed up into the front. All the components, as many subsystems as they possibly could fit, they put it up at the front. Why? Put it up at the front to counterbalance those. Those are heavy, very heavy. They're big engines, man. So my fuel cells help balance out my design. They're up at the front with their fuel tanks. That's how I get my orbiter to fly right. The cool thing is that I can open and close these tanks and trim it if I really need to. I have a flag that's a grid piece. If you guys, some of the K9 people notice that there. What is that? Center of mass, baby. It's my center of mass indicator. That has since changed. That's not supposed to be like that. Maybe I moved it. Oh, that's dry center of mass. Excuse me, I screwed that up. Good thing I didn't mess with it. It's the center of mass of the shuttle with no fuel. If you drain the RCS, take a look. And you drain the fuel cells as well. Because, well, why does that matter? Well, the center of mass indicator on the long axis of the shuttle matters when you're flying because you need your center of lift to be lined up with it, right? Not gonna lie, SSMEs are more pleasing to look at than Raptor. Yeah, see, it's indicating dry COM. How's the day been? Good, Zay. I redid the STS-1 mission, the CTS-1 mission, with Jev and Bill in the right save today, just because I wanted to. Now we're getting ready for 2. I need to get a payload ready to go, and I want to get a pallet. I want to develop a shuttle pallet today. That should not take very long, and what I mean, like, that's actually not going to take very long. Test is set for 350. Excellent.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
More time than I need. Hey, Theix. So let's get the pallet, payload, let's get all that ready to go. And we'll work from there. So those mount points are still the same mount points for Centaur G. But we don't need that. Let's make a shuttle pallet real quick. Oh man, that thing is big. You know what? You know what? That goes in there. I'll just put it in my shuttle research folder. So that engine test that they're doing today is a very, very, very important test. It's the upgraded SLS motors. Those motors are going to have way more power than the space shuttle's engines. Well, not way more, but a good amount more. It's an RS-25E. Yep. Yeah, that's what it is. So it looks like the shuttle pallets are riding a little bit high here. So maybe we can use the wider panel for this bottom section here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a pallet, and for our second mission, let's see. Canadarm tests were canceled. Okay. Are you going to make something like Space Hab for future missions? I'm going to go past Space Hab and move right into building Space Station, Spacephobic. It's the beginning of certification, so it'll have all the new parts tested in development. Yeah. Novus, you want to see something? That line right there kind of got my attention. STS-2 was the first space shuttle flight where O-ring blow-by was observed. After the damage was discovered, another O-ring was intentionally damaged to a further degree. It was then put through a flight simulation at 3 times the flight pressure. It survived the test and was endorsed as flight-worthy. Interesting. Why would you test it at 3 times the flight pressure and then deem it flight worthy if it didn't fail anywhere near 3 times the pressure? If the booster performed nominally, why would you test a pressure test? Doesn't make any sense. I mean, this is easy. That's easy to say in hindsight, but that's a really weird way to qualify that. But yeah, once again, shuttle program is plagued with bad testing. It's not anything we didn't know. It's just something to take into account. Did you ever figure out what caused that side slip on the shuttle the other day? Fuel cells. It was the so it's a combination of things. It's the combination of having my center of mass just a little teeny weeny bit offset and not having the motor torque on the shuttle. This thing needs to have wheel authority. Just a little bit. Because the real one had a little bit of wheel authority, not a lot. You adjust the wheel authority, and I adjusted the wheel authority, and what I did was I moved one fuel cell to the other side. So there's 2 on the opposite side of the arm. And now you just saw this thing. Well, I don't know if you did, but I just flew the thing. It works. Good enough testing theory for you. That's not even testing the right thing. You know, once again, it's easy to say it in hindsight. You know, after the damage was discovered, another O-ring was intentionally damaged to a further degree. It was then put through a flight simulation at 3 times the flight pressure. Why would you test it at 3 times the flight pressure? It didn't fail in that scenario. I don't believe the shuttle had any torque system. I thought it had gyros on it, Rocket Guy. Could be wrong, though. Maybe I'm getting it confused with Buran. How many shuttle flights do you foresee this taking you? What, Gupsy? Not very long, dude. No. We're gonna do a lot more flights. Wild how that much deviance can cause a small offset. At least I think that's what's going on. I'm pretty sure. I want to make sure that my shuttle program doesn't do a dumb like this. Building your station. I got to design more of the modules, Gup, but yeah, it'll go fast. I want to go quick, dude. So that's why we got to get this palette figured out. Because I don't want to just send it up there with the arm, you know? Yeah, but pressure is not the problem, Geek. It was temperature that was the problem, but maybe they didn't know that at the time. Yeah. Why is it bad to test something that didn't fail at 1 time at 3 times? It sounds like a leeway test to see how much it can take. Well, Rec, okay, this is hard to explain. Yeah, exactly. So if your car has, if you're riding your motorbike around, right, and you blow a tire, you don't test the engine. So I guess you could test it at 3 times the booster internal pressure and see what happens. But here's the thing. If you test it at 3 times the pressure and it doesn't fail, but your flight, the actual flight that flew into space, right? And this is like, dude, this isn't even a hindsight thing. This is just testing. This is just good testing. Like, why would you do this way? So you tested it at 3 times the pressure. It works. Great. Good. Awesome. That's really sweet. You have a sweet amount of leeway. But you got to remember, did the shuttle experience 3 times the booster pressure, 3 times the internal booster pressure during flight? No, it didn't. Absolutely didn't. Because if it did, the freaking shuttle would be at the moon. Right? Like, just a figure of speech. There's not enough delta V. Right? So you have a failure. The failure happens, and then you test another thing, and then you're like, okay, that works. Okay, cool. It's fine. Well, Hellfish is right. You got to replicate the failure. That's how you understand how it works. You don't test something based off of a failure and then say it's good. You have to figure out why that failed first. That's why it's bad testing. Yinzoku, kind of. It's a hybrid career mode, and I play career mode just because I want to track prices with everybody. But yeah, I'm just editing in cache. It's basically sandbox, but I like playing with career mode. What is the resulting conclusion from said test? Yeah, exactly, Rocket Guy. That makes no sense. Why would you do this way? That's really stupid. You have to replicate the failure first. If you can't replicate the failure, how the heck do you know what went wrong? Testing it at 3 times the pressure. That's good. Sweet. Great. It works at 3 times the pressure. Is that anywhere near what you're going to see during a flight? No, not even close. Not even close. Why does that prove anything? Case in point, NASA shot foam at a faux shuttle leading edge during the Columbia investigation. Yeah. Oh, you want to see a dumb Aqualux? You'll like this one. Look, we were reading about STS-2. STS-2 was the first space shuttle flight where O-ring blow-by was observed. After the damage was discovered, another O-ring was intentionally damaged to a further degree. It was then put through a flight simulation at 3 times its flight pressure. It survived the test and was endorsed as flight-worthy. O-ring blow-by, so it was an RB-26. What does that prove? That's what I'm saying. What is that? That proves nothing. What do you mean? You didn't even trace your fault tree. Who did this? That's so stupid. Oh my goodness. You didn't even what? Yeah, there you go, Theix. Okay, Novus, what are you saying? It's about a factor of safety. The pressure internal to the SRB is what causes the blow-by. It depends on what the actual test looked like, and if they took a temperature range into their test plan for flexing the article. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you know, it's a Wikipedia article, so take it for what it's worth. Wikipedia does that. There's no cited sources. We would have to see the criteria of the test. But I will say, if that's what they did, and they said, nope, it's good, that is bullcrap. Someone should have said something right there. Someone said, what are you doing? What do you mean it's good? And it sounds like, so, Rec, the reason why I'm like, is because SRB blow-by is what caused Challenger to pop. What happens when you get blow-by in a car engine or a bike engine? Your piston rings aren't working correctly, right? So they're not gapped correctly, they're broken, they're shattered, they're flopping around inside of the combustion chamber. That would be bad, right? And what happens? The explosion blows by the piston and it goes into the crankcase. Not good. Not good. That's why cars have PCV valves, positive crankcase ventilation. So you're losing power. All you're doing is just creating positive pressure in the crankcase. That's really bad. That is like a telltale sign of a motor that's about to explode or on its way out, right? Now, think about that with an SRB. The SRB is a big pipe, and you need the gases to go all the way down to the venturi so you can accelerate it out the bottom. And the blow-by is the same thing. There's O-rings that hold the segments together. If they go out the sides, do you want your SRB to shoot sideways? No. Down, please. I mean, I can think of situations where 3 times the pressure would cause better sealing. Wiki summarizes probably a 100-word test plan and result, boils it down to 2 sentences. That's right. You have to replace the piston rings you fried. Oh. Ooh. Oof. Oofta. All right. I meant a 100-page test plan, but yeah. I mean, even if it is 100 pages, still, I mean, your point still stands, I think, dude. Interesting, huh? Fire pointed down, please. Found this. Interesting. Okay. I want to get back to building this pallet, but yeah. The second flight STS-2, launched November 12, 1981, experienced erosion of the primary O-ring in the right solid rocket motor aft field joint. The eroded area was at the 90-degree location and it was a maximum of 53/100ths of an inch deep. However, this erosion was not discussed in the STS-3 flight readiness review, even though other anomalies mentioned in these reviews are identified as not a Crit 1-2 failure. Yeah, 53,000. Sorry, excuse me. The field joint seal was, of course, classified criticality 1R. This erosion was the deepest experienced in flight in a case field joint until 51L. Yeah, sorry, I decimal pointed wrong. Hey, Vulcan. Interesting. Alright, well, let's get back to ours. Our O-rings don't fail because mine's a one-piece SRB. It's not segmented. Oh, neat, Vulcan. Check that out. I'll check it out. I want to get this, figured out, my dude. But yeah, that's cool. We can do circular like this. That's cool. That's kind of neat. Is this Tidris? I want to get the... No, this is the shuttle mission. This is the second shuttle flight where we're going to test the arm. I need a pallet in here as well. So I'm trying to just figure out a good way to make a pallet. It just needs to be simple. It doesn't need to be crazy. And you know what? I'm not even, like, too on board with it. It doesn't need to look exactly like it. It just needs to get the point across. So, kind of like, let's just get the point across and send it, bruh. Not like that. Testing you did before was just simulation? What do you mean? No, we're in mission mode. I did another test flight today, RJ, but I did it in the right save this time. So, CTS-1 is canon. We're getting ready for the second shuttle flight, but I just need to make a pallet for it. Does that make sense? I did it just to piss you off, Cerebral. Sorry, man. Sorry, man. You gotta prove that it works, RJ. Yeah. Yes. If that's, yeah, that's correct. The reason why I'm making a shuttle pallet is because I realize that it's something that I might need to put stuff inside of the payload bay that needs to be mounted inside of, or like hung on a pallet. No RCS, disable that. We need to set that piece to SVI. So this is going to be a quickie, man. I'm not really trying to build something nuts here. The pallet should just be a pallet. So a lot of people don't know the shuttle. So how the shuttle worked is that it could hang stuff in the payload bay. It hangs on the rails right here. There's two huge structural pieces that connect the back end of the orbiter to the front end of the orbiter. If you ever notice, the shuttle's payload bay walls are kind of riding a little bit high. That's for structure to tie the whole thing together. So this point is absurdly strong right here, and that's where they mount the payloads. Payloads are mounted in three primary spots. So the primary structural carriers for the payloads are out here on the latching system. And then there's a downward facing pin here as well. How this all gets held together is literally a latch. There's just a small latch that's about this big that can open and close, or which is a passive latch or an active latching system, and then there's a passive latching system. So there's ones that they could set to open and ones that they could set to close. Cool thing about it is that the shuttle payload bay had 13 bulkhead segments between the front and the back. This one only has 3, 6, 9, 12. This one only has 12, but it's whatever. It's fine. These bulkheads right here, you could attach the latches to each bulkhead. The latches would have been attached on, they're configurable. You can move them anywhere in the payload bay. So if the shuttle's going to carry that, for instance, the EDO, the EDO was a shuttle pallet that was carrying extra consumables for the shuttle's fuel cells so it could stay on board for longer periods of time. See the pin right there? You could configure it and have that thing held in with the bottom pin, left pin, and right pin. You just stay right in there. Look, the EDO, is that a solar panel on the EDO? Huh, interesting. So if you look at any shuttle payload, it has the pins riding on the sides. Any payload that you can find that rode in the shuttle bay has those pins. See them right there? 1, 2. If we go and look at Centaur G, my love, my beloved, see the pins? 1, 2, and then Centaur itself was on a pin. These ones would have been on passive latches, and that would have been on an active latch to deploy Centaur. I use KRAKEN Tech to do that, to hold them in place, and then toggle the colliders on it. Now, this one, we don't need to toggle any colliders. Hubble has them too. That's right. Yep, absolutely. You go look at Hubble. See? See the slider? There's the pin. There's a pin right there. And then there was a forward mounting point there, but they took it off. Pretty cool, huh? Vulcan, it's so blatantly obvious when you look at it, isn't it? It's so obvious when you look at that thing. But, hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't move them, Sun Temple. It was configured on the ground. You can't move the latching system back and forth. No. You could just, you unbolt it and you bolt it somewhere else. I'm trying to find you a picture of what they look like. You'll know it when you see it. I guarantee you've seen the latching system before. It's a silver plate. See that? See those plates? Those plates contain the latching mechanism. See the silver plates on the side of the payload bay? If you wanted to leave an empty spot, there you go. You have an empty spot. You can put the plate between the bulkheads right here, and you bolt it in. There's bolt holes. You just move the plate down, and there's your latch. That's a passive latch right there, believe it or not. That's just sitting there doing nothing. That right there is an active latch. See the ones that have the extra components attached to them? That's an active latch. So that's designed to be deployed out of the payload bay because it has a grapple point. See those latches right there with just the brackets over them? Passive. They just sit there. I can do that by toggling same vessel collision. I can make active and passive latches. Right now, these are going to be set to a passive state, so they just Krakentech holds that pallet. It just Krakentech holds the pallet in place. Easy peasy. Yep, those are all shuttle pallets right there. It's basically just an aluminum truss, and you can just mount stuff to it. Complete coinky-dink. I still love how the NRO just happened to have a spy satellite bus that perfectly fit in the shuttle payload bay. Totally coincidence, guys, right? One of life's little ironies, huh? Oh, where did that attach? Oh, I don't want that. Please fit. Please fit left to right. I'll give you $1. Oh, that would have been so good. It's close. Actually, that would be fine. It's not colliding with the panels, believe it or not. See how I can select the thermometers underneath there? That actually could work as a passive system. I'm not sure how much I could move this thing down, though. No, yeah. It would have to ride right there. Okay. So I got another idea. Huh. Hey, Sile. What's up? Welcome back. Shuttle's looking great. Thanks. Those are cool. Those are cool, but they're not what I'm looking for. See, I'm wondering now, guys. I keep some kind of a freaking rabbit hole. I keep seeing these U-shaped palettes right here. Right? I see those. And then I see other types of palettes that are just basically a crossbar. Here's a nice shot inside of the OPF. Yeah. Yeah, I got you, Vulcan. I'm wondering if they revised the palette design over time. Because it looks like the later versions are just basically a crossbar with some struts that go down. Like that. See what I mean? Seeing a Hot Titan integration photo down there. Yeah? Where? It would definitely save mass. I really wish there was some kind of PDF on this. That brings up SPAS, which is a shuttle pallet satellite. It was a little spacecraft that the shuttle could deploy, and its station keep with it. But see, like, look. See that? It's just a big crossbar that's carrying some parts. Like, what's the difference between that and the big U-shaped thing? You know what I mean? I really need to figure out... Okay. Alright. Payload bay acoustic data, acoustic environment, payload bay door and radiator panel familiarization handbook, preliminary shuttle payload contamination assessment, orbiter payload bay door mechanisms, STS-2 payload bay acoustics, payload dynamic interaction. Successful expert systems for space shuttle payload integration. Maybe that'll give me something. Maybe configurability. S-band communications, payload flight assignments, space transportation system shuttle payload flight assignments, dual fault tolerant actuator. It's in here somewhere, guys. STS payload ground handling mechanism. We might find something in that one. Remote manipulator positioning mechanism, vibroacoustics, shuttle onboard contamination, and environmental effects. Sorry, this is a little bit This is the hard part. We just got to figure out how this all works. Or I could just say screw it and make it myself, but it's designed to work with this stuff. I'm sure there's something here. Alright, I'll just type in pallets. I'll see what happens. Integrated design checkout of shuttle payload avionics info. Okay. Let's just try shuttle pallets. Let's see if that does anything. Maybe this? You got something, Vulcan? So this is NASA's technical reports server, guys. If you're wondering, this is where you want to learn how, like, the intricacies of how, like, declassified space systems work. This place is a gold mine. Yeah, this is more in the applications of Space Lab, I think. Oh, is it legal? Oh yeah, sure. It's all public domain, guys. Totally cool. Yeah, no, it's absolutely okay. Anyone can look this up. All right, let's see what we got passing. Scanning. There's no pictures of the dang thing. This is just cost processing for integration and stuff. Damn. No, Putra, you're fine. You're fine. Nothing. Yeah, okay, Vulcan. Okay, that one's a rabbit hole. That was a rabbit hole. Let's go ahead. What? Why did that show up? See, NASA probably called it something. They probably called it a keyword. Yeah, carrier might be the right thing. think we got a winner. Hold on. Attached shuttle payload carrier. Versatile and affordable access to space. What up? Oh. Nice. Hyperlux. That's what I have. What is this mechanism called? Artist's conception of Spartan and associated mounting structure. Alright, let's read for a second. Standard mounting structures and other support systems collectively called the attached shuttle payload carriers to make this additional cost space available to researchers at a relatively moderate cost. Other carrier systems for attached shuttle payloads are operated by other NASA centers. No, I don't know, Cap. We don't have an answer on that one yet. So, they seem to be called attached shuttle payload carriers. So, let's just jump back over here. Yeah, this was the pegboard that they could attach to the mounting brackets. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So that's Hitchhiker. Okay, that's not exactly what I'm looking for. No. You found it? All right. Evolution of small payload carrier systems, okay? Oh, you win. You win. Bingo. The need for a special structure for small shuttle payloads began to emerge in October of 1978 during the development and design of requirements for two material science experiments. In contrast to a dedicated space lab mission, this pallet was to occupy the only part of the orbiter cargo bay. Good call, man. The mission peculiar equipment support structure. Literally weird payload mounting. Payloads that have to be mounted weird will be mounted on this. Yep. Yep, Agalex, you got it, man. That's, yep. Yep. That's exactly what I'm looking for. It's exactly what we need. All right, so here, let's screw with this a little bit. I think that's more in line with what I need to make rather than a shuttle pallet right off the bat. Now that we know the name, yeah, you just got to find the right keywords because NASA won't just call it a pallet. They won't. Now, Akalex, if you can find the name of that, if you can find the name of that U-shaped thingamajigger, find the name of that thing, we'll be in business, dude. Because there's a bunch of different names for everything. Like I said, the shuttle's payload bay was infinitely configurable. As long as you put these little pegs on the side, you could mount whatever in there. You could mount a pickup truck in there if you really wanted to. Like, the heck with sending the Tesla Roadster to Mars, like Falcon Heavy style, right? Shuttle could take the Tesla Roadster up there with a grapple point. It could dock it to the ISS, leave it up there, come back down, go back up, grab it, and bring it back down. Space Lab Logistics Pallet. Oh. Oh. Standardized space palette. I don't know why Viper came up. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. I've seen enough. Let's make the peculiar payload attachment system right here. Let's make that one first. You got me? You got it? All right, cool. Standard shuttle payload carrier. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the help. We'll get this right, and it'll make it easier to just integrate payloads and just send them in the future. 3-meter pallet segment. Bingo. There it is. Yeah, dude, you could mount whatever. That's control gyros. CMGs, control moment gyroscopes. Interesting. I think that's what that stands for. Scanning. I'm just looking for pictures when I say scanning, I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay. Hey Alex, I'm just reading about how shuttle payload pallet systems work. There's a lot of math. You're not the only one. I just need the pictures. Okay, I see how it works. All right, excellent. Was it steel or aluminum? These things would have been made out of billet. There would have been billet aluminum for mass purposes, Sun Temple. But, you know, it wasn't around, but it would have been nice. Would have been nice to have had a, like a carbon fiber version of this. But anyway, let me move my latches. Imagine if it used carbon pallets or something. Yeah, Paul, there's a lot of good stuff on NTRS, dude. There's a lot of good stuff, and it's public. It's all public. You won't get people showing up at your front door. Don't worry. That's actually, that thing is just a tiny bit too wide, man. That's so obnoxious. All right. Honestly, here's how we're gonna do this. It's gonna be a little bit ugly looking, but it's okay. What I want to do is bring up science experiments on this mission. I don't necessarily want to make something that's like removable from the shuttle payload bay, but say it with me. I am ugly and I'm proud. Excuse me, sir. I hope my horrible ugliness won't distract you from the movie. Not at all, boy. Duh! Sorry. All right, it's funny, okay? I know it's a cartoon. I think it's funny. Shut up. And these will be getting saved into, so shuttle palette MP ESS. I'm gonna actually start naming these stupid things. Shuttle palette segments. I don't know why I didn't put spaces in that one, but whatever. Yeah, see, you could daisy chain the segments together inside of the payload bay. It's freaking cool, man. I really hope Starship has something like this. I really think it needs a payload bay variant like this with pallets, with like a Starship palletized system, just like an airplane. That's where this system came from. Airplane containers are palletized, like cargo containers. They're palletized. They actually are. They look like a square, but they actually have a 45 cut off the bottom corner. They're standardized containers. You can see them. They look like this. You've seen them before. I know people have seen them. They look like this. Because the idea is that if you have a plain cargo bay, right, like this, and then you have your flight deck up here, and this is where the seats are. You have standardized pallets that can fit like that. See what I mean? The shuttle was just literally trying to emulate that. They borrowed it. That idea is straight out of the airline industry. The air cargo containers, Aqualex, bingo. Nope, I don't need to pin your message, but I just did. I just did, so that's gonna be pinned. Air cargo containers will be pinned for now. I don't know how to unpin it, dude, so enjoy having your message pinned for 20 minutes. Did you know that SpongeBob predicted NFTs? What?
Everything he owns.
A worthless piece of paper. Hey, thanks. That's just what I needed, Squidward.
Oh god. Oh god, that's too real. Oh god, that's too real, man. That's too real. Don't do that. Don't do that again. There we go. That's how these mothers are riding. And that, look at that. It fits. The pallet lid is gonna fit like that, okay? It is gonna fit like that, okay? The pallet lid is gonna fit, okay? Why, Postal? Why do you hate me? Why do you hate me? What did I do to you? Why do you hate me? I don't understand. Why would someone do this to another person? How many hats do you have? You don't want to know. Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to, pal. Alright, so here's what we can do. This thing is for peculiar payloads. Guess what? It's coming with some peculiar payloads. What are we putting on it? Let's put that on there. the magnetometer, just because. Look at that. Look at that. Let's get some science knowledge, huh? Get the gravioli detector on there. This is literally what this thing was for in real life. For small experience, you just put it on the, just mount it. From what I can tell by scanning through those PDFs. The telescope? I don't think the shuttle ever had a telescope mounted in its payload bay. The goo seems like a peculiar experiment. Good. False. Fiction. We made it up. We made it up. It's false. Never happened. It never happened. It's false. It's fiction. Not this time. It's false. It's fiction. We made it up. It never happened. It never happened. This one was confirmed by a writer. It's Kraken Arm, Paul. That's what it's called. Kraken Arm 1. It's the Kraken Arm, man. That's what I called it back in the day, dude. That's what we're gonna call it now. Science Junior is gonna require a bigger palette, but here's what we'll do. Actually, before I put all this on there, let me remove those struts from symmetry. Remove those from symmetry. Make sure we go in here to AG1, enable same vessel collision, enable same vessel collision, right click, disable the RCS, make sure those don't fire, ever. Save. Shuttle payloads. Uh-oh. That's what I was worried about. I didn't like those struts being in the type of symmetry that they were in. Bingo. All right, take that, put this in here, reattach that back down there. This is the CTS 5-P for payload. What did they call this thing? This is the peculiar mission peculiar equipment support structure. Copy that. MPESS. Word? Hell yeah. So what we could do is if we wanted not one, but two peculiar payloads. We could go in here, make sure the MPSS works, and boom, baby. Oh, it didn't like that. Well, it has to do with strut orientation and root part subassembly, dudes. So we have to attach it like that or else the struts are going to get screwed up. So watch this. So if I take this and we attach it like this and it runs the struts, the game logic will know that those struts are run in that position, and then we attach it there and it works. See? It's just game logic. Pretty cool though, huh? And then that can open up the door for making pallets, but we don't need those. Ready? And we don't need those. Get rid of them. I just want my payload bay to be configurable this way. EJ has mastered the KSP. Yep. Alright, now let's get some of that science knowledge. I want the magnetometer sticking out of the payload bay because I think that'll be cool. And we can get cool pictures that way. You guys like cool pictures, right? Who doesn't? Let's put that there. Put the spectrometer out here. It's funny. I love how they said they just basically said it's peculiar payloads. That's all it's for. It's for just weird payloads that are weird shapes that we can't figure out how to mount to. Just literally put a brace right here and just call it a day. Going to be fun relearning this stuff in KSP 2. Yeah, Steve, I know. You're not wrong. Those thermometers aren't the same as that thermometer, okay? They're different. It's literally just an aluminum space frame. That's it. That's all it is. And you can just mount stuff to it. We can spruce it up just a smidge though by doing something like this. Ready? I think the wing might get confusing. You know what we should do? Just go with the... Points if they just use that aluminum extrusion stuff that bolts together to make whatever you want. Yep. Yeah, pretty much, dude. That's from what I can tell. Sweet. Also, it's noted that the flag pretty much fits in the girder segment right there. Cool. Okay. I'm just closing up these tabs. Hubble. That's stuff about O-rings. I don't need that. Yeah. See, look at how many MPSSs they're carrying with this. 1, 2, 3. They got a bunch of them. Look, they just mounted a bunch of stuff to these things. That's it. And then there's some sidewall racks right there too. Look at this thing, man. Hey, Weiser, it's going okay. Hey, Balk, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, see? You could just carry pallets. You could just put whatever you want. You could put a whole space station module back there if you really want to. How many times will these be used in game, though? See, Hellfish, I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. But it took me 15, 20 minutes to put this thing together. Well, in like 45 to do the research. It's better to have it, not need it. Need it than not have it. I sent you a funny on Discord if you have the time. Looks like Bill's just smearing his pudding all over everybody. The one with the most stuff connected to it was Getaway Special. Yeah, Getaway Special was a really smart idea passing that they stopped doing. They basically used the shuttle's aggregate payload to do rideshare missions. So if the shuttle had like a 10-ton payload that it needed to deliver to space, it has 15 tons of aggregate payload space. And they would just literally fill it up with small sats and other commercial satellites. So the shuttle literally destroyed commercial launch markets for like 5 years, from like 1980 to 1986, or 1981 to 1986, I should say. It literally just thrashed on the launch market, put everybody out of business. And then they decided, oh yeah, we're not doing that anymore because shuttle's dangerous. Was there any plan to pressurize the cargo bay? No. But you had Space Hab. You had Space Hab, dude. Space Hab and Space Lab. It's basically just a ISS module with some thermal on it that just never comes out of the payload bay. That's the closest we got to it, but still pretty cool. Like I said, yeah. Basically a module. A lab module. You could, yeah. I sure did enjoy putting us behind in the space industry. No, there was nobody else that was going to do it. You can make an EDO with one of these passing. Yeah, I can make an extended orbiter pallet, no problem. Yeah, I can make EDO with this, that's no problem. At least I should be able to. Would you want me to make it right now? I don't know, dude. Maybe. I'm thinking. What's that about? SpaceX's Juliana Scheinman says they are inspecting 2 engines on the Falcon 9 that showed signatures of moisture in recent inspections. If it's water from recent rains, it's okay to proceed. If something else, we'll stand down for the launch to replace the engines. Yeah. Passing, here's the other thing, and Hellfish, this kind of is topical. So figuring out kind of how this works, how the pallet system is, it's literally just a bar that goes across like a crossbar or a U-shaped bar. It's telling me a couple of things. Once again, first thing it's telling me is literally what they were thinking about. That's what I'm trying to get at probably the most. What are you trying to do? Like, how does the shuttle payload bay actually work? Like, we know Centaur G, we know how that works. They could deploy stage out of it. Or you could, like, for small payloads like these science modules, right? It was just literally a crossbar. That's it. A crossbar with a pin that goes down here. That's all. Easy peasy, right? Or the Space Hab with the pallet system, right? It's so you could put longer duration experiments on it. Now the other thing I would be very, very interested in figuring out is the shuttle satellite deployment. I didn't spell satellite correctly. What does the shuttle satellite deployers look like? They were made by Hughes. I know they were made by Hughes. And they were back there. What does that look like? It's an erector set, basically. Yeah, that's how they designed it. See these little... What's up, 9-5? Did you watch the inflatable station explosion test? There was actually 2 of them yesterday. Gore-Tex, yes, I did. Yeah, see? Right here. Yeah, Sierra Space did one, and Lockheed Martin did one. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? So, actually, you know what? Here, we can do this the easy way. STS-5. STS-5 launched, see? That's exactly what I'm looking for. See? It's basically that U-shaped pallet, but it has some insulation on it. And it launches a satellite with a little SRB upper stage there. And I'm pretty sure that this stuff opens like a clamshell, I think. Either that or it stays like that. Wacko, 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 wacko. Word. Yeah, it's got a PAMD on it. Interesting. Deploy many. There's this too. See, we just gotta find the right terms for it. Cradle. Here's a link to what was in the payload bay. Oh, thank you. Dude, where did you find this? Damn, Z-Man. I'm not sure, Jack. Okay. So this gets me what I'm looking for right here. It's quite literally just a cradle that's holding a payload attachment mechanism in it. Sweet. This is good enough higher to get the point across. I just need to know what I'm looking for. Yeah. Okay, I have those. Actually, I'll keep them open just so we can. And Z-Man, thanks for this. I'm saving that one. It's all the manifested payloads. Hey, there's my 10 mil socket. Oh, look. That's exactly what I... Yep. Okay. Why did I scroll right to that? That's kind of dumb. That's the Solar Max repair mission. That's a satellite repair cradle hired, believe it or not. Yeah. That's STS-41D, I think. We watched Deep Space Nine. Long time ago. Don't really remember. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's the IUS deployment mechanism hired. We actually already made that with Centaur G. Centaur G and IUS deployments are very, very similar. No, Paul, it doesn't ring a bell off the top of my head. Okay, yeah. It's literally just a cradle with a payload attachment mechanism in it if we want to do that. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, let's do this. All right, so let me put the arm back into the MPM position. The early IUS payload adapter even still had the LH2 and LOX lines for Centaur G. Don't tell me that, Vulcan. Don't tell me that. That's just gonna piss me off. Don't tell me that. That's just depressing, dude. Why would you say this? Are you gonna next thing you're gonna tell me you shot my puppy too? Oh yeah, by the way, I killed your dog. It's like, all right. Why? Why would you? Why? Stop this. You just, don't do that again. I don't have a dog, no. I wish. I can promise I didn't kill your dog, but you killed my Centaur G dreams. I don't have a dog. I haven't had a dog since 2013. CTS-5 payload MPESS 1. MPESS with science. Okay, cool. So this isn't the full stack shuttle, so I'm just going to leave this thing in the open position right here. and we're going to have to reconfigure
Go and throttle up.
this a little bit, but we're going to test out the arm, and I actually think I might put STS3 in here as well, because they didn't test the arm because the fuel cells broke on STS2, so that's good. Hey, Zio. What's up, man? 25-month resub. Appreciate it. I mean, yeah, okay. Remember the interim part of IUS. Vulcan, I don't know if you were here, but the other day, there's lessons to be learned here. The lesson to be learned here is that anytime anyone proposes something in spaceflight that has the name interim in it, they need to be slapped. Slapped and publicly shunned. Okay? Okay? I think that's the lesson to be learned there. Well, if we just made an interim up and slap! No! Shut up! No! No! Well, we could just have an interim solid booster for the shuttle. We wanted to... Get away from me! Shh! No. No. Bad. Sorry for yelling. They should be interim. Well, maybe if we just use this as a stop, just slap! Slap, 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 slap. It's like that guy from that episode of South Park. Children, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm gonna slap the crap out of you. You know what I'm talking about? The one where the guy has the kid has the dad, and the dad wants his kid to be in a musical, but the kid just wants to play basketball. Then what's the S4B? A stage that actually is designed to complete the stated goal right off the bat. And that's exactly what it did. I'm gonna slap you. Okay, so let's check STS3. STS3 took payloads out of the shuttle payload bay and kind of held them up. It's delayed, Sebi. We're gonna do some arm practice today. Yeah, that's the other thing. I remember now. Let's configure this payload bay up. Configure the payload bay up for the mission, and then configure the flight version. Yeah, no, it's never interim. It's never interim. It's never will upgrade it later. That never happens. False. It's fiction. We made it up. We made it up. It never happened. Delete that. I saw it. There's an extra strut lying around over there. Did you assign a cal for arm movement, or are you going to do that right now? Well, we got to mess with it, RJ. Let's go ahead and make the pallet. Let's make a secondary pallet right here. I'm going to take that and we're going to move this one back here. The reason why we're going to do that is that because this thing is very light. This pallet that I'm about to make is going to be a little bit on the larger side. So let's take that. Move that into position there. Take this one. Move that into position. So we got latches out there. That's good. Let's make sure that our... Okay. Yep. All right. Stennis is live. Yes, I know. It's Facebook. Nothing more permanent than a temporary solution. Here's the YouTube. All right, cool. So we just got to make something for the arm to pull off of a platform and then put back in the payload bay. That's really what I want to do with this mission. So this mission is not just going to be moving the arm around. Okay. So we're going to take a quick fiver here. And we're going to flip this bad boy on.